What's up, everyone? Coach Tony here. In this training, we're going to talk about finding your passion, how to pick the right activities. If you're a high school student or a parent of a high school student trying to figure out what activities your child should be doing, this is the perfect training for you. If it's a very first time meeting, my name is Coach Tony. I've been helping families with the college admissions process for the last 16 years, starting as a former UC Berkeley admissions reader. So I helped read apps, recommend yes or no to students, and then I got to work as a director of outreach at UCLA. I opened my own high school like 8 years ago, and I became TikTok's first college admissions partner, working with a bunch of the Ivies as well too. So my whole experience, work a lot in behind the scenes, understand what really is important in the admissions process. And if you've been following us live, right now is the end of 2024. A lot of our early action students are starting to get their letters in, and we've been proudly posting them. A lot of our kids gone to the various Ivy League colleges and even MIT. So whatever we're doing is kind of working as well. So I definitely recommend you guys kind of learn from here, take advantage as much as you can from here through this lesson. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Let me know if you guys see that. I kind of shared. I'm doing a new. You guys can see the new video, new audio, new setup here today. If you guys, those who are here live with me, if you guys can let me know if you guys can see and hear me still, and the screen is correct, right? So I'm making sure it's a new computer, new everything. So it's that awesome, perfect. We are going well. Let's go ahead and get started with this talk, right? So in this session, we're gonna talk about three things. One, how to discover passions and then how I never like the word passion, but we'll talk about that. Number two, how to select meaningful activities for the student. And number three, how to use activities to stand out on the applications itself, right? So starting first, how do we identify your passion? So first off, what is a passion, right? So when it comes to passion itself, people always feel this has to be a big, grand idea, right? Like, oh, you're passionate about this, right? Here's the truth. Most high school students have no clue what they're passionate about, right? And I'm passionate about. And it's fair, right? They're 14, 15, 16, 17, 16, 17, 18. Parents would think back when you were this age, did you know what you were passionate about, right? Some of you will say yes, majority of you guys will say no, right? And think back when you were this age, did you know how life was going to play out or did you not know? And again, that's the big thing about here. So when it comes to passion, instead of thinking about it has to be this big, broad thing, the best way is just start small, right? Just start small. What does that mean? That means what is a reoccurring interest that your child has? What is something that they're curious about? Or simply something that brings them joy, right? So I looked up the definition of passion right before this call. And if you go to Google and you look it up, the definition is a passion is a strong and barely controllable emotion as well too. So passion at the end of the day comes down to an emotion. Again, for those who've been following us for a while, and when we talk about a lot of this stuff, what do I always tell families? Right? Everything you do traces down to an emotion. This is exactly why. Again, passions, people kind of think of it the wrong way. They think what looks good for college, right? That this is not what looks good for college. People always think that, and that's not the wrong approach when it comes to the admissions process. Instead, what you want to focus on is going to be what are these interests that my child has? What kind of curiosities do they enjoy to do? What's something that brings them the joy? And that's gonna be the big things. Okay. So what's some questions you can ask yourself? Because again, some of you are like, Coach Tony, my child has no clue. Or if you're the student, you're like, Coach Tony, I have no clue. So here's some questions you can think about, right? The first thing is I would ask students to help determine this as well too. What do you do for fun when no one is telling you what to do, right? You can think of this as hobbies, right? Because again, you don't have to do your hobbies, but there's people who are interested in certain things, right? So that is, again, is their hobbies. That's an interest that could fit under on the passions that you have. Another question I want to ask you is what topics or causes do you find yourself talking about or feeling strongly about, right? As well too, this shows me your values as well too. And again, when you thinking when I'm asking you these questions, you're probably thinking of the answer back of your head as well too, right? And that's kind of what you want to start thinking about. Another one, right? Who do you admire? And why, right? This tells me what inspires you, right? Your inspiration of things. And also, what problem in the world or even your community do you wish you could solve? Right? This shows me your problem solving skills. So these are a lot of the guiding questions I would have students start about if they're like, I have no clue what I'm interested in. I have no clue what I'm passionate about. I'd have them start answering some of these out. And then there will be at least one of these questions you will probably have an answer as well. Later on, I have a few more things to kind of pull that interest out of them. But these are just some of the first guiding questions I would have you think about to determine some of these initial passions that your student would have. And again, and none of this, I did not ask you what looks good for college. What do I need to do to get into a certain school? That none of those questions exist right now, right? It's what are you interested in? Well, like your passions, your interests. Okay. Last thing is the validation. So this is how I know something is passionate. Because again, some students are like, Coach Tony, I'm passionate about my research program. I'm passionate about all these different things that I do. And I'm like, cool. So the big question I ask the students, and this is a lot of this is if you're not starting, but you're doing something and you're asking yourself, is this what I'm really passionate about or super interesting in? Right? Passion is typically demonstrated through consistency and enjoyment. Meaning, the question I would ask you is, would you keep doing this even if you didn't get a grade or recognition or put our ability to put this on your college apps? If I ask a student, "Hey, what are you working on?" They're like, "I'm doing robotics. I'm playing soccer. I'm working at this place." I'm like, "Cool. If I didn't let you put it on your applications, would you still want to do it?" Right? And then if you answered no, so if a student answered no, I would have that student reevaluate why they're doing that activity. Because what they're doing now is they're doing it to look good for college. And that's again, can you do it? You can, but that becomes your reason. Your reason is you're looking for college. If your reason to look good for college and someone else's reason is a lot deeper than your look good for college, they're gonna outbeat you. So everything you should do should be something you're truly interested in. So again, if you ask any of our students, "Hey, why are you doing that? If I let you put it, would you still do it?" They'll say, "Yeah, I still want to do this because that's what I enjoy. I still what I want to do." Right? I think that's the big thing of all. I think that's the big question you ask yourself. And if there are things on your application that you can't say yes to, and you're like, "Actually, no, I'm only really doing this for college." Reevaluate that, right? See, can you turn it something? Or if not, just scrap it, find something else. Because again, at the end of the day, the what you do is not going to be as important. Okay, that's the first piece here. Second piece. So now that we understand the first part of the passion, the second part is how do we pick the right activities, right? So how do we pick the right activities? So there's three things, right? So currently right now, if you're watching this, you're probably a high school student or again, or a parent of a high school student, probably in ninth, 10th, 11th grade, or even some earlier ones. Some families are here a little earlier, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Some families are in community college as well too, right? You're currently doing something, right? Your child, the student is currently doing something, right? It's hard, it's very hard to do nothing. Think about it, right? Think about it as well too. Your student think about it, right? It's think about doing nothing. And because you're thinking about doing nothing, you're still thinking. So you're doing something. So again, it's really hard to do nothing. You're always doing something with your time is the biggest one, right? So you have a set of things. So when it comes to how do I increase, how do I do more, like what other things should I be doing, right? There's three ways I would have students kind of double down on this number thing, the things that they're doing. Number one, double down on the things that you currently enjoy to do, right? This is kind of going back up the passions topic of like things that the students are doing, all right, that brings them joy. Some of our students, right, love sports. That literally it's like fun for them. That's their safe spot. Do more of that. Some of our students love to be part of clubs because that makes them feel a sense of belonging. Cool. Keep doing that. Whatever the things that make you truly happy, double down in them. Can you spend more time doing it? By the way, the answer is always yes. You can always do more of something. It's hard to kind of, it's just like, what can you do more of? And someone told me, I can't do more. I'm like, well, let's think of it. And you can probably will think of a lot of stuff. You can spend a day doing a lot of the same thing over and over and over. Okay. That's the first thing. Now, after you do that, the second piece I'll have the student consider is what other things do you want to try? Right? That interests you, right? That's the second piece. So, because again, outside of the things you're doing, so let's say you have your current activity list, you're doing A, B, C, and D. Now I'm like, cool, outside of A, B, C, and D, what else do you enjoy? What else do you like to do? Right. And then when it comes to these things, right? When it comes to these things, if a student says, I don't know, if a student says, I don't know. Here's a little test, right? Here's a little test. And parents, you guys can do it with yourself as well, too, because I bet you it's the same thing for you, right? If you ask me, Coach Tony, read me, right? Tell me what I enjoy. And then I think we live in a world now that I can pretty do that pretty fast now. How? Number one, if I ask you, show me your YouTube front page, right? I am pretty confident that all of you watching me live and those watching the replay, you have used YouTube at least once in your life, right? And when you use YouTube, it asks you like, hey, can we track you so we can send you videos that you recommend? And I bet you a lot of you guys said yes. So when you go on youtube.com or you go on your phone or your app, YouTube app, right? There's a list of videos that they recommend for you right away. That's just like catered just to you, right? I bet you again, don't do it right now, right? Finish the video first, right? But after this, go on YouTube. Prove me wrong. Go to YouTube. You'll see like if you're on a desktop, there's like 8 videos at the very top, right? And 8 to 10 videos. And then if you look at the videos, if I look at that, I can probably tell the type of person you are. If you guys go to my YouTube, you'll see it's the same thing. Number one, I like pro wrestling. You'll see a lot of wrestling clips. Number two, I like Pokemon. You'll see a lot of Pokemon clips as well too. Number three, I'm big into collecting, like Pop Mart and stuff. You'll see a lot of those videos. I've recently been involved in Marvel Rivals as well too. That's the new video game. You'll see videos of those as well too. So you can see what I'm interested in based on my YouTube feed, because most likely YouTube is the second biggest search engine after Google, right? So Google doesn't search like keep your data that way, but YouTube is very visual. So I can see that. That's number one. Number two, I bet you if you guys don't have YouTube or you have YouTube and something else, show me your social media pages, right? Specifically, I want to know your For You page or your Explore page, right? For You on TikTok and your Explore page on Instagram, right? So one of the things that the social media platforms changed this past year, it used to be based on your reach, right? It shows you people who connected. That's why you send friend requests and you could get connected. It's a network effect. Nowadays, they call it the TikTokification or the interest graph on social media platforms. If you guys have noticed this or not, right? You guys are seeing posts and videos from people that aren't your friends, but it's because it's your interest as well too, and that's what keeps you on these platforms longer. These platforms pay a lot of money to understand that. Therefore, if I just go through if I scroll through your TikTok for a minute, if I look at your explore page on Instagram, right? I can tell the exact type of person you are and your interest because you tend to look at your interest as well too. Another area is your and last one is show me your ads. Right? All of us are hit by ads everywhere, social media, anywhere you go. ads are trained to know who we are as people in a very scary way, but then they know who we are. So a lot of you guys, by the way, probably hit with my ads as well. That's how you guys found me on this platform as well too. You guys probably said the word college admissions, and I could have found you guys on the interwebs, right? So again, that's usually how it works as well too. So your ads also show your interest and things as well too. So if a student says, "I don't know," I give me one of these options, and I can probably tell you what your student is and what they enjoy and all that stuff based on this data alone without them telling me anything. Okay, so that's that. So what else do they want to do? Try those. Right. And again, one of the big questions that will come up is what if it doesn't relate to my major? What if this doesn't relate to my major, to my major as well too? And the answer is that's fine, right? Again, if you guys are only doing, think of us as if you're an engineer and all you did was engineering things, you look like every other student applying for engineering, right? So when it comes to standing out, the things you do the things you do will not make you stand out in today's world. Right? I've told a few families this that I've seen so many applications from the last 16 years that no one has impressed me anymore. In the first few years I helped families, everything was, wow, that was cool. Wow, that was cool. Wow, that was cool. Nowadays, I'm like, oh my God, I'm a national champion. I'm like, that's cool. Right? Oh, I won first in the world. That's cool. All right. But I've seen so many of these stories before because again, it's not wowie anymore. So the idea of standing out because simply because of the thing, that's not the important part. For me, right? How you stand out is be yourself, right? Think about this, right? You are the only you that I will ever meet. I would never meet two of the same yous ever, even twins, right? We have actually have a lot of twins in our program, which is funny, right? We have a lot of twins in our program, but even when we talk to the twins, they're both individual, they're both different people as well too. So what makes you stand out is not the things you do, it's the person behind the things. That is how you stand out in today's world. So when it comes to here is be yourself. Again, so if you again, I always tell people I am a college admissions person. You guys probably know a lot of college admissions people. When I ask you, hey, how many college people have a mohawk like mine? As I got a nice little haircut, you guys can see that, right? Little haircut, boom, mohawk as well too. Now that list gets a lot smaller. And I told you, I college admissions with a mohawk loves pro wrestling. That list gets even smaller. College admissions, Mohawk, pro wrestling, founded his own high school, even less. So as you add more and more and more unique things, you truly become the one of one. Right. But if I all I did was, okay, what do all the other college admission people do? Let me do just that, then I'd be another person that like gets lost in the shuffle. Right. So again, the idea here is just be yourself. And again, people make it more complicated than it needs to be. So just be yourself here. Right. So that's number two. The third thing, and here's where you do it though, right? In addition to the your interest and what do you like to do, now taste your career or major, right? You are still gonna do it too. The reason why this is important is that when it comes to certain college supplements, right? They're going to ask you, right? Why do you want to pursue this major? Right? And that's gonna be a big question a lot of people ask. Most students don't know the answer to this. They're like, I want to be an engineer. I haven't taken the classes or done anything, but I want to be an engineer, right? So I call it's a big wish. You're wishing to do something versus versus a student who says, "Hey, I've taken all the classes with boom, boom, boom. I've done this thing, boom, boom, boom. I've tried this, and I still want to do it. I want to continue it at your school." If you were at the college, would you have someone with no experience, nothing, say they want to do it, or someone who's been there? And have done a lot of it, but they've tasted it, they've tried it out, and they still want to do it, right? So that's kind of what you want to do. Same thing if you guys were like, if you imagine you own a business, right? Would someone says, "Hey, I'll do that job for you. I'll be your accountant for you as well too." One person has never taken a math class, so the other person has a degree and has done it a few times already. Who would you pick for your accountant, right? So it's one of those things to understand. So you want to taste it, right? Doesn't mean you have to do anything crazy in it. Just taste it, try it out, because then by trying it out, when you try it out slash taste it, right? Two things happen. You're gonna do part A, part I, right? You're gonna love it more, or two, You're gonna hate it, right? What happens when you hate it? Is that wrong? No, that's perfect. That's life. You don't like it. Now let's move on to something else. Let's find something else for you to do. If you do like it, cool. Let's keep doing more of that. That's gonna be the big key there as well. Okay, so either way, it's a win-win. Don't treat your activities as it has to be a perfect thing, right? Treat your activities, right? As a journal of your experiences. That's the better way to think about activities rather than, right? Rather than having it perfect in this. And with that, here's the biggest mistake that I see when it comes to activities, right? Going off of that, right? Don't do things to look good in the admissions process, right? This is a big thing. Everyone always comes like, oh, I gotta do this. And it's always because your neighbor. It's always because a neighbor or a friend told you this. No, 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 no. That you don't want to do that. The goal, right, is to do things in one, two, or three. I never said anything that looks good, right? That's not part of the equation for us to do stuff. If it does look good, cool. But again, at the end, everything you do looks good. So then don't worry too much about that part specifically. That's the big no-no, right? Again, at the end of the day, everything will. Everything will look good. But don't use that as the main driving factor. That being said, let's touch upon one thing that I see a lot of families ask me every single call. Not every single, most calls I talk to new families on, they always bring up one of these three words, right? The three most infamous high school activities that everyone feels you need to do. Does anyone know what it is? I'll give you 5 seconds to try to guess before I give the results. This is something anytime I ask a new family about activities, they always name drop these one of these three, if not all three, as well too. Boom, research. They ask about research. They ask about internships, and they ask about summer programs. I call them infants because everyone asks about them as well too. So here's the big question, right? Do we need these? The answer is no. We do not need this. Can we do these? Right? Answer is always absolutely, right? As well too. So when it comes to one of these three things, do you need it? No, right? A lot of people feel like you need it. And then when kids get in with these things on their resume, that wasn't the reason why they got in. So people always feel, does it mean, let me clarify right now. That wasn't the reason they got in. That was just part of their profile and part of their things. Again, if it falls out correctly, it was either one of their ones, their twos, or their threes, right? And that's it, right? So, but it wasn't because of that that they got in. So first we gotta break that apart. Now, the second piece here is who is each of these things appropriate for? Because at the end of the day, I don't recommend all students do research. I don't recommend all students do internships. I don't recommend all students do summer programs either, right? So it depends on a you answer. So let's talk about the first one. When it comes to research, right? Who is research good for? Here's the reality first, right? Reality first. Realistically, 99% of high school students, all right, do not have the skills and the academics to make any significant impact in the scientific research space, right? You can argue me all you want. I've seen more students than all you've ever met, right? Most students, no matter how smart they are, is not the level to do research because most of our students research that I see, I'm like, oh, you just put the numbers together. You just did like it's not something super crazy as well too. So when it comes to research, I'm asking, what are you really doing? Is the real question here, right? So if you are doing research, the filter question you want to ask yourself is, what is keeping me up at night that I must know the scientific answer to? That's the filter question here. If I ask a student, hey, why'd you do this research on this thing? And they don't give me an answer that relates to something like this, I pretty much know, oh, you did it to look good for college. Is pretty much the default answer I think about when students tell me that, right? Again, there are students who, again, feel really, one of the stories I keep sharing is one of our students was involved in an eye research thing, right? And the reason why is because their family suffered from the exact same eye condition. So they were were involved to kind of play a role to kind of for them deep down, yes, the research cool, but deep down for them to understand about their family's eye history because they had a history of like something with the cataracts, right? Is the thing there. So there's a deeper relationship thing that's keeping the student up at night scientifically there. Okay, so that's the first one. Second one, internships, right? Let's do the reality here as well too. Realistically, most high school students do not have the skills to make any significant contribution to an employer or anyone offering an internship, right? What is an internship? Internship is you're helping them for free, right? Or paid, right? But free or paid to help them out, the employer, the person who's helping you out. When students tell me, I want an internship, I'm like, cool, what skills do you have? Is my default question back. And students, I don't know. I was like, if you don't know, how can you help somebody with what they're looking for? Keep in mind for an internship to work, it's a win-win. Meaning you get to be involved, so you're learning, right? But the employer or the other person giving you the internship, they need to save time or save money. That's the reason why they would offer you an internship. If, let's say, you have no skills, right? If you have no skills, again, not saying you don't have skills, but your skills aren't good enough to make a significant contribution, then why would someone say yes to you? You're going to give them more work because now they have to supervise you and correct your mistakes. Would any employer, even if it's free, because free is costing money, right? Free, it costs someone's time to watch you and do it. That's why students with internship, right? The filter question I have for them is what skills do I have and do I learn best via hands-on application? That's your question here. What skills can you contribute? Because there are students we have that are really like good coders. They're really good. Like I was like, wow, that's really cool. They can probably intern at a local software company and do really good because they have the skills. They don't need a lot of supervision and they can make sizable progress. We have students who are really good at social media that they can jump on and help a company out, save time, save money, and they can make a significant contribution as well too. But for a lot of students, when I ask you, cool, what skills do you have? They're like, I don't know. And I'm like, and it's hard to kind of help you find an internship because I don't know what your thing is. So if you the answer is I don't know for you, let's go back and let's get the skills first, right? The skills is probably more important than the actual internship. Because again, if you get the skills, a lot more doors open. Right? Internships is just one. You can actually even look for employment, look for anything else once you have the skills that's relevant to your space. Okay. And the last one is summer programs, right? So when it comes to summer program, reality again, reality again. These are all via applications, right? Or most of these are via applications, or has a high cost to them, right? So either something you apply, like again, a lot of the MIT ones are very nice as well too. It's free, but very competitive is number one. Number two is a lot of schools and a lot of places also offer a summer program, but it's very expensive. So what's the thing, right? People, this is why you hear the word pay to play kind of programs as well too. Do I believe in that? Yes and no. It depends on the program. Because at the end of the day, what I feel is that there's certain programs that can offer certain experiences that you can't get in any other way. So the filter question here is, do I learn best via a structured format? And do I want to experience a particular do I want to taste a college experience, right? Because again, a lot of these programs are on the school campus for like a week or so as well, too, right? So that's going to be a thing. Because again, summer program, that's pretty much what it is. You're learning the stuff you can either learn from home on YouTube, or you're learning it from like a formal setting. Because again, learn from YouTube's not formal, right? You just kind of learning it. This you're actually sitting in a classroom and learning it, and you get to try like be on a college campus. It's really cool. Again, you can't really do that in any other way, right? Except for if you do a summer program itself. They are competitive, right? So definitely apply to them. And some of them do have a cost again, but at the end of the day, each of these things, I never said, hey, do it to look good for college. For each of these is it the right fit for you? If we've had students who have done research and they are, again, very smart, very curious about something in science. They're able to do really cool things there. We've had students who do really cool internship opportunities. They had a skill, they could contribute and do it. Some of our students love their summer program experience as well too. By the way, if you're watching this live in December, maybe early January, apps are open for summer programs. Definitely apply. It closes up in January, February. So definitely apply to those soon, right? Again, prep for summer begins now. Don't wait till summer for summer, else everything's gone. So definitely start prepping for summer prep right now. So that's that. That's gonna be the big thing here. Okay, so these are the big three that again everyone talks about, and again they're not bad. Can you do them? Go for it if it makes sense to your profile. And then let's wrap it up. How do we build a standout profile? So once we have done the things, this is more for our juniors, going to be seniors in a few months. How do and even for seniors who are joining this call and you guys are still working on your apps with another week, a few days to go, right? What are admissions people looking for? I would say it comes down to three big things. They look for leadership, right? They look for commitment and they look for impact as well too. When it comes to leadership, right? Did you take the initiative? Did you organize? Did you inspire anyone? When it comes to commitment, did you dedicate time and effort over like years as well too, if you have done that as well, commitment over time. And the impact, again, I call it the ripple effect, right? Who have you affected on this journey? Usually, is it just yourself, or would you able to kind of help out a community, help out groups of people, contribute to a bigger effort than just yourself here? Okay. On this note, let's talk about leadership because again, a lot of people when they think of leadership, they think of only like, oh, I have to be people think about being president, being vice president, being the founder, and all that stuff as well too. Which again, yes, these are we call these formal roles of leadership. However, right, leadership comes in a lot of different forms, right? When we walk around in the real world, right? No, this is the real world, but if we walk around, we don't have titles on us that say, "Hey, I'm a blank leader," I'm this and that. It just happens naturally, right? So these are called informal roles of leadership as well too. Let's say you're in Key Club, right? At Key Club, you went ahead and you were in charge of like a water station for the marathon. I remember I used to do marathons and people get that. And in that, you were the ones who like help manage your little group of people, and you managed your little team as well too, right? That's no fancy title, but that is an informal role of leadership as well too. Let me go another like let's get personal right now, right? If anyone here is anyone here like the oldest child, like the oldest sibling. I was. This is how I know this, right? Because again, right, there's people who are applying to colleges as a like only child. Not saying it's bad or anything. It's like that's just who they are. So they focus on themselves. There's people like me who grew up with like I have three younger siblings behind me. What did my parents tell me to do? I got to not only take care of myself, but take care of them as well too. As a result of that, I have sibling responsibilities, right? Taking care of my siblings and everything. Again, I don't get a fancy president title or vice president title. It's an informal role of leadership that I have to do because again, that's kind of the part there. So again, when you think of leadership, it doesn't have to exactly be a title. Again, if you have it, that's awesome too. But there's always way for you to get informal roles as well, and you want to share that on the application. When I talk about commitment, so this is the big thing that we track for our families when it comes to the commitment factor. Again, the what if hopefully the big takeaway is the what you do doesn't matter too much, right? Do whatever again, what you're doing that you enjoy, keep doing that. What do you like, do that. What do you think you're interested in, taste that. So those are the things that you're doing anyways. So the one thing I care about is the hours per week. The reason why this is important is colleges want to know, hey, you're not only good in school academically, right? But you are also involved in a lot of other things, right? Think about this way, right? College is not simply about school. If it was, right, then why don't we go to online school and then be done with everything, right? So again, it's not simply the school, right? Colleges want to build a community. That's the reason why they're that, right? MIT, if you look at the stuff that MIT and Caltech, those are the two like geeky schools that they do. They have a lot of funny traditions that they do because they're so geeky as a nature of who they are. That's the community that they are trying to build. Same thing with a lot of these schools, right? There's a lot of the Ivy. This and that. Again, kids who go to certain schools, they look again for parents who have kids in different colleges, right? You may have started to see that. Their kids at certain colleges, they look and act a certain way just because they're from that school. So colleges want to build that community. So not only do they want you to be good in kind of school because you can do well in the classes, but they also want you because if let's say you played sports in high school, you'll probably play sports in college, not on their team, but like recreationally, right? On the at the park in the other areas to make their school more lively as well too. If you're involved in different clubs at your high school, you probably will continue that at the college. For example, I mentioned Key Club earlier, right? Key Club is the high school service club. When you go to college and you want to continue that, that's called Circle K. Circle K is the college version of that. And by the way, for those who want to go after that, the adult version is called Kiwanis, right? That's what I'm part of, right? So that's the thing there. So there's three different avenues that way. So again, there's different ways to they're assuming that you're probably going to continue. Again, not all the time, but there's a good chance you probably will continue what you're doing once you get to the next stage, on and on and on. Okay. So they want to build that community. So, right, a good way to do that is get involved in things, but how much is always the arbitrary number. So these are the numbers that we have for our own coaching families. Mathematically, they're all doable. And these numbers have worked really well for us statistically. So I would definitely copy that if I were you guys. So if you're aiming for a UC based school, I would have you guys aim for around 20 to 25 hours per week of activities, right? On a consistent basis. I'm going to some weeks are crazy, some weeks are easy. When you average it, it should be around 25 hours. If you're aiming for, like I said, a top 50 college, 25 to 30 hours per week is typically what we see. And you're aiming for an Ivy plus college. These are like the Ivies, the MITs, the Caltechs, and all these other schools. 30, 35 plus hours per week is what it is. When you do the math, you're like, Coach Tony, it's a lot of hours, right? You're like, okay, when you do the math, right? There's 7 days times 24 hours, that's 168 hours per week total, right? Each week, right? You're sleeping for 8 hours a night times 7 days, 56 hours, right? You're in school for 6 hours times 5, 30 hours. You're doing homework, let's say 3 hours, 5 days, 15 hours there. And I call it me time, right? Me time is like personal time to do video games, Netflix, whatever. 2 hours times 7 days, 14 hours there. When you subtract 168 minus 56 minus 30 minus 15 minus 14, you get 50 hours of unallocated time that counts as your activities. We're just asking for half, if not less than half of that time to do things that you're doing things that one, you already like to do. Number two, you're doing things that you think you like to do. And number three, you're doing things that you think you want to do as a career. I'm not having them do anything crazy. You're just doing things you like. I'm giving you permission to do stuff you like, right? So that's the big takeaway here. Now, to wrap it all up, how do we share it? Because this is the big thing why students mess up. They do all this amazing work, right? They do all this hard work only to not share it correctly on their applications. So on all the applications, there's going to be a section where you share your activities. The format of how you want to share it, do not write in full sentences. For every college, they only give you a small space to keep it in, right? The format you want to keep it in is the verb, ed, context, impact, right? That's gonna be the format. What does that mean? Every single phrase, you start with a verb. Use an action verb, strong verb, so they understand. Like a resume, right? So a verb there. Then give me the context. This is usually like what you did, right? And then the impact usually is an easy way to put numbers in here, right? So what? It's the so what factor as well too. So here's example number one, right? Let's say you created a mentorship program. Boom, right? That's what you wrote. Is that good? Is that bad? Again, you did your verb, but then meh, right? Or let's break all the rules. I created a mentorship program. Cool. I don't really learn too much about you, right? Versus, let's say, example number two here, right? In this section, you instead wrote, created and led a weekly STEM mentorship program inspiring 20 middle schoolers to explore careers in engineering, period. Right? Now, between this and this, what type of student tells me more about who they are and which one, like, wow, I understand the student. Again, I'm not looking to wow the person, I'm looking to understand. And that's the key thing about these activities is that you want to share who you are. That's why I always say, always try to include metrics whenever you can. And you by the way, you always should be able to do whenever possible as well too. So there's a number. If you took this out, again, cool. But then if you say 20, oh, I can see a number and I can visualize this. And that's what college are trained to look for. Okay. And that wraps up this trading as well too. I talked for 40 minutes straight. Hopefully that was useful and helpful for you guys as well. This is pretty much our last trading of 2024. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We will kick back up in 2025 this Thursday on the 2nd to do another training for you guys. But I see we have a question here. Is shadowing considered an unpaid internship? I wouldn't count it as a unpaid internship. I would count that shadowing is shadowing, right? So when it comes to internship here as well too, the question is I would say no, right? But you could turn this shadowing experience into experience into a an internship because again now that you've seen right shadowing you get to see behind the scenes of how things are right once you see how things are what I would do is I would turn it into an internship ask them hey I think I can do this one piece for you and help what's the skill you have right I can do this for you can I try it out for you then once you do that now you officially have an internship I rather go that approach as well too. But I will still share shadowing as part of your applications to show them that you did it. But then again, I will take it the next step further and turn that shadowing into an official, like unpaid internship itself. Okay. Cool, cool. That is pretty much it for me today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys on the next training.